Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is GITMO, Cuba, the January 6th pardons and executions. Okay, first of all, this is a U.S. Department of Defense website. This is where they put out contracts in case someone would like to build something for them. And as you can see, this is dated January 14th, 2025, and it says that they have awarded a combined $249 million. That's a lot. $249 million for what? For an upgrade and an expansion of the Naval Station Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. And it's going to be completed by January 2030. No, okay. They're probably in a big rush. Now, let's talk about that. What are they doing? What are they doing? I do not know how many people can be held there, but I do recall back before Trump left his first 4-year presidency, he had authorized a lot of money, several $1 million, for upgrades to Guantanamo Bay. At the time, we were expecting massive arrests. The massive arrests didn't come, but normally there is anywhere from 25 to 125 sealed indictments all across America at any one time. But on November 17th of 2017, I remember it specifically, that was when Trump signed an executive order, and I've talked about this several times. So on other programs, it's got the executive order. I've showed it several times. He signed an executive order that said that the property of people could be confiscated if two things, if they were guilty of corruption in government or a terrible human abuse, as in sex trafficking, human trafficking, and things like that. And it gave them authority to arrest them and prosecute them, but not in civil court. It would be done in military court, military tribunals. Now, do you remember the guy? Oh, his name slipped my mind here. He's the guy that back like in 2005 prophesied that Trump would be president, and everybody, yeah, Trump's never going to be president. Well, he was. Mark Taylor. Yeah, there you go. Well, he said that also there's going to be massive arrests. Okay, now, where am I going? I think that $249 million, I mean, the whole island of Cuba is probably not worth $249 million. So they're doing a lot of expansion. Now, why? Because if you've got someone of high value that you don't want to be tried in a civil court, if you don't want them to have the right to remain silent, right to an attorney, if you don't have the money, want to be appointed for you, a quick and speedy trial, all of the wonderful things that are given to the what are supposed to be Christians, to the citizens of the United States. Then you send them down to Guantanamo Bay down there. They aren't being held by the U.S. government. And down there, they can be waterboarded, they can be tortured, they can be locked up with no right to an attorney. And down there, they can be executed. And I'm sure that there have been executions down there. So I've heard, though I have not actually been there and approved it. But so when he authorized $249 million, that's a lot. What's he doing? He's saying that those 749,000 sealed indictments are about to be served. And he's saying that the massive arrests are still on. Now, let me give you a couple of things I was looking for, just to be honest about it, to tell you some things that were in my heart. I was suspecting that as soon as he took the oath of office, we might start seeing the massive arrests, but we haven't yet. And I was also suspecting it could be the day that the new financial picture comes in. But apparently he's not ready for it yet. I mean, if you look at yesterday's program, you see that I was talking about how Trump just signed an executive order that says the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, cannot be used any place the United States has authority. That means not just the 50 states, but that also means any place the dollar is used. So what Trump did was just shut down the Federal Reserve expansion. That doesn't close the Federal Reserve yet, but it means they can't expand to do their CBDC that they're so mouth-watering trying to get done. And I think this is saying that the massive arrests are still on. And in these $249 million is not just the massive arrests are still on, that there's a bunch of people. Why? Because if they try to put them in jail here in America, they just get an attorney and they get out. But if they're taken down to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, they get all the attorneys they want. And they can be tortured, they can be executed, and it's military property, and they can be tried and will be tried in a military tribunal. Okay, now let's go on to the next thing I need to point. Biden commutes the sentences of 37 federal death row inmates. I told you that the battle between darkness and light has begun. It's not just begun, it's gone to a heightened level. Now look at who he released. If you don't think Biden was the devil, this is going to erase all questions. The 3 inmates not included are Robert Bowers, who's responsible for the mass shooting in the Tree Life Synagogue of 2018, which left 11 people dead, who killed 9 black parishioners. Okay, so these are the only 3 that were left in out of the 37. So what he's done is, the article goes on to say, he's released some really, really bad murderers, really bad ones. Well, how's that fit in? Because then Trump comes along, and this just a few days after it, he grants sweeping pardon of all of the January 6th defendants, which is around 1,500 people. Some of them had hit a police officer in the face and were not very nice. And I watched him when he was being interviewed before Hannity a couple of days ago. Watched the second part of it last night. And Hannity said, how come you released all of them, even the ones that hit the police officer in the face? He said, because of the way they were treated. Some of them shouldn't have been in the jail, and they were put in jail for, 3.5, 4 years, some of them. And a lot of them were not even guilty of anything but just being on the property. Some are not even on the property. He didn't say that, but other articles have. And I mean, there were articles where years later, years after January 6th, people up in North Dakota, for example, would get a knock on the door. There's FBI standing at the front door asking questions. Were you at January 6th? No. Is this you? No, that's not me in the picture. And they were looking to round up everybody. So anyway, he says that in that they have served 3.5, 4 years. He said they've already served more. He said there's murderers that get off with a year or 2 in prison. He said, so they've served their time. Now, what am I saying? I'm saying that here, Biden lets the bad of the bad of the bad guys go. Here, he lets the very bad, maybe the worst of the good people go. What are we looking at? We're looking at a tit for tat. We're looking for people that there's a war going on right now. And it's going to get worse. And you better understand the devil's not going to lose. He does not lose until Jesus returns for Armageddon. Okay, let's go on. Next point. Now Trump issued another executive order, and he is now resuming executions that Biden had backed off of. So again, Biden did something wrong, Trump is trying to correct it. Biden did something wrong, Trump is trying to correct it. So there's a battle going on. The article goes on to say, President Trump indicated he intends to resume executions of federal death row prisoners and forcefully pursue new death sentences for future cases. I want to say something else. I said this to Leslie. I talked to the TV when I'm watching the news. I talk to the TV a lot. And matter of fact, every night, okay, all right, I'll just tell you here. every night about 8:30, Leslie wants me to be done watching Fox News and come in and scratch her back and get her to sleep. And it's been that way our 41 years of marriage. Because she gets tired of the news. I understand that. What I do is very negative. And she also gets tired of me talking to the TV. So she has to leave the room. She goes on to bed. So, yeah, I talk to the TV. And what was I going to say now? Let me read the article and we'll come back. Okay. Forcibly pursue the new death sentences in future cases, particularly against migrants in the U.S. without legal status who commit capital crimes. Comes shortly after the former President Joe Biden and his Department of Justice moved to restrict the federal death penalty. In the final weeks of his presidency, Biden commuted the death sentences of 37 of 40 prisoners on death row. In other words, he basically just let them all go. Death row people, let them all go. Trump's order calls on the U.S. Attorney General. Oh, all right, I remember what I was going to say. Trump has made a big deal that Biden did not pardon himself, and that all of these people that Biden has pardoned, and I'm going to walk on some pretty thin, icy ground here by what I'm about to say, but there's a difference between civil court and military court. Trump has put out an executive order saying we're not going to militarize, that's not the right word, weaponize. There you go, that's right. We're not going to weaponize the government. In other words, we're not going to use the government to go back after the people that stole the election from him and did all these bad things. He's not going to do that. But notice what he didn't say. He didn't say the Marines might do it. He didn't say they might go to military tribunals. But here we're looking at this, and my suspicion, I do not know it, but what I'm watching for is to see if people like perhaps even Biden and his family and all of these people that he had pardoned gets rounded up and they get arrested and they get taken down to Guantanamo Bay and they disappear into the night and they're not ever heard from again. And I can just see the news coming up. What? I thought you said you were. He says, well, I didn't. I thought you weren't going to go after these people. I didn't. It's not me. It's military. They did it. Okay? Wasn't civil. Had nothing to do with me. Had nothing to do with the presidency. Had nothing to do with the United States of America. This is the military. So I'm watching to see if that happens. Stan, do you know if that's going to happen? No, but everything seems to be pointing in that direction. Okay, so I think I've made my point here. Okay, so there's a battle in high places within our nation. Let me go on to the next thing. Okay, so Trump to demand lower interest rates immediately. Now, I've got I'll probably make another program today. Whole other program talking about the 12 banking families in the Federal Reserve. There's a battle right now between Trump and the Federal Reserve because, as I said in yesterday's program, Trump has now issued an executive order that the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, may not be used basically any place the dollar is used, which is right now around the world. So he shut down the future growth plans of the Federal Reserve. And I think we're going to see him shut down the Federal Reserve, shut down the IRS, totally shut down the all capital United States of America. The report is, they're going to come up with a whole new republic, and it's called the Republic of the United States. That's the name of it, Republic of the United States. And I've covered that many times here. Okay, so first article, Trump demand to lower interest rates immediately. And of course, the Federal Reserve has come out and said, you don't tell us what to do. We're 12 banking families that have ruled this nation since 1913. You don't tell us what to do. You can't fire, not Bernanke, what's his name? The head of the Federal Reserve, you can't fire him. Yeah, well, that has to do with civil. But now if the military comes in And of course, if he were to call me and ask me, I would say, look, you want to start with the Federal Reserve? You want to start with the banksters? Because those are the real problems. Not the guys that are robbing people on the street. They're problems too. But the real problems are the internet. I have to be careful with my words here. The people that own control the money. I'm probably going to make another program right back to back after this. Okay, so we'll go on to the next one. Okay, CNN's Acosta considers leaving CNN amid time slot talks. What are they doing? Next article says CNN to lay off 200 people in digital restructuring. Why? Next article, CNN valuation plummets by half, down to now only valued at $2.3 billion. What's happening? Trump, the Trump effect. He's not just messing with CNN. My guess is MSNBC, ABC, CBS, a lot of the other, how do I say, left-leaning people, they're getting shut down because they've now been caught lying. Trump jumped through all of their hoops, went through all of their scathing attacks on him, and he's made it all the way to the presidency. And in a landslide election, which is a mandate, and the world, the evil world, is scared to death of him. The Davos people, Switzerland, and let me say it again. I don't know, maybe I should do a program. I've got a whole link to someplace out there that did a wonderful job of explaining the whole background of the Ashkenazis. Let me give you a brief rundown. Okay, so in Kazakhstan, which in ancient times has to do with Ukraine and that whole general area, there was a group of people that were so evil that the Russians, and there was another country, I forget now, there was 3 countries that went to them and said, look, you guys are so evil. We demand that you find a religion to follow. And so they said, you've got a choice. You can either do Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. And they chose Judaism. And remember, Revelation 2 places says, and these are the Jews that say they're Jews. Excuse me, these are they that say they're Jews or not, but do lie. And 2 places it says that there's people out there that will say that they're Jews, but they are not Jews. That's these people. Okay, so they chose to follow the Judaism religion. So much so that they went to the Jews and they said, look, can we intermarry? And Jews says, absolutely not. Bible forbids us from doing that. We're not supposed to give our daughters, and we're not supposed to take your men. We're not supposed to do that. So they just started calling themselves Jews. Then they even changed their names to Jewish names. But their bloodline is not Jewish. Their bloodline is Ashkenazi, which is where we come up with the word Nazi. So then it graduated and it grew from just Kazakhstan into Ukraine and several of the other surrounding nations. And then it grew over into Switzerland and then over into Germany. In World War II, that's who we were fighting. When it says the Nazis, it's short for the Ashkenazis. It's not necessarily a total bloodline, but it is a thought pattern or a belief pattern that these are the most evil people in the world. The highest people still worship Moloch and Baal. They still believe in child sacrifice. And that's the reason the primary people behind the pedophilia in the world come out of that area. Not only now, it's spread around the world, but I'm just telling you, that's the spirit behind what we're fighting here. That's what all of this is really, 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 really about. So when Donald Trump talked to the World Economic Forum, he was talking to the devil. He was talking to people knowing or unknowingly. These people serve the devil. A lot of people serve the devil, and they don't know they're serving the devil. Okay, it's real easy to serve the devil. As a matter of fact, it's easier to serve the devil than it is to follow Christ. So he was upsetting at least 80 years of work. He tore up their DEI. He tore up their, well, it used to be called global warming. Of course, then it became climate change. Now, that doesn't mean that that turns off their scalar wave, the ability to make hurricanes and floods and snowstorms and earthquakes. I mean, they're going to do all kinds of things with this scale. Burn, man. So Trump, if they could kill him, they would. They already tried twice. And I think it's the same spirit that killed Abraham Lincoln. It's the same spirit that killed McKinley and also JFK, RFK, probably MLK, I don't know. But these people, it does not bother them. They have no conscience. It does not bother them to kill someone. Matter of fact, if you get into Freemasonry and you understand a little bit about, well, not a little bit, but some of the deeper things in Freemasonry, you find out that they take a blood oath. And I think that's the reason the Democrats stick together, because they have taken a blood oath. And that blood oath says, you will do as we tell you to do, or we will kill you. I think it's something, you be cut from ear to ear and have your tongue come out onto your throat, all kinds of gross things if you reveal into their secrets. And it goes on to other things if you don't do as they tell you to do. And yeah, I think there's times where they go to some of the Dems in the House and the Senate and say, you're going to vote this way, or you're going to be dead. I can't prove that. I suspect it. But there are a lot of things we Christians, Holy Spirit speaks to us, leads us into all truth, right? So we know it here, but we can't prove it in a court of law. And of course, in man's court, it doesn't make any difference what you think. It only makes a difference about what you can prove. So I think I'm going to end it there. Yeah, I want to remind you that Joseph's Kitchen still has site-wide free shipping. I don't think they've ever done this, but this is a really big discount on everything. Right now, everything there, you can get free shipping on it. And since a lot of the things that they ship, the wheat and all that sort of stuff, are really heavy. I mean, a lot of times they come on pallets. So to get free shipping, that's a big deal. Joseph's, with an S, kitchen.com. Also, if you watched the program yesterday, I interviewed Jonathan Rose, and he's with Genesis Gold Group or prophecyclubgold.com. Get a hold of him, 800-200-GOLD. Also, if you want some prepper bars, there's the phone number. And if you want to, now for the first time, if you have crypto and you want to put that into an IRA, for the first time, they've just set it up, you can call these guys, or actually you go to the website, blocktrustira.com. Blocktrustira.com, and it'll tell you all about it. If you don't even understand crypto, he says that place will help you to understand it. When the suitcase nukes, I didn't say if, I said when the suitcase nukes go off, if you want your car to start, if you want your computers and your refrigerators and things like that, anything with a computer chip to work, you want to have one of these from EMPShield.com. EMPShield.com. And they have videos up there. It takes about 10 minutes to put on. It's not complicated at all. And if you use the word prophecy, promo code prophecy, you get a $50 discount, and it helps your Prophecy Club. I'd recommend you get Potassium Iodide at prophecyclub.com. When a nuclear device is detonated, the wind blows the dust, and it's like fine dust. It's like powder. And it settles on everything. You breathe, eat, or absorb radioactive iodine. You pretty much can't avoid it, which kills your thyroid, killing you. But a simple fix is to simply take potassium iodide pills, which then flood your thyroid with good iodine, keeping the radioactive iodine out. You need 1 bottle per person per exposure for everyone from infant to adult, available. 10 bottles for gift at $150, which is what I recommend, or $20 a bottle at prophecyclub.com. Shelf life 5 to 8 years, potentially more if you refrigerate it, or even more if you freeze it. Potassium iodide pills, prophecyclub.com. Right now we have them in stock, but so many people are ordering them, you may have to wait a while to get them. As you recall, this past Saturday, November the 9th, the Lord spoke to me 2 words screaming at me loud like a trumpet. Medical, medical. I take that to mean that not only myself, but also those that follow Prophecy Club, in addition to all of the other preparations we've made, we need to start making medical preparations. And I put that out, and I was deluged with emails sending me to this place. This is the place that all of you seem to like when it comes to medical supplies. So I called them, hooked up, and I've arranged to get you a 5% discount when you use the promo code PROPHECY. Promo code PROPHECY, 5% discount, and it's refugemedical.com. refugemedical.com. And as you can see, they have all kinds of, here's one of the main things you need to get. It's called a burn bucket. This tells you all about it. They also have a business bundle, a home bundle. I think everybody ought to have at least a home bundle. They also have vehicle bundles, church bundles. So they already put this stuff together, and this is not foreign-made stuff. This is all American-made, and it's by a Christian company. And you go to refugemedical.com. refugemedical.com. We've got a new sponsor. It's sat123.com. sat123.com. I'm amazed at what this company offers. They got satellite phones. They've got Wi-Fi hotspots where you can have internet any place. So suitcase nukes go off in your city. If you don't have to worry about that, you still have electricity. It can go right up and connect to a satellite. They also have marine satellite internet. They also have satellite radios so that you can talk back and forth, even though, in other words, it's not a phone, it's a radio, but it's satellite. So go check it out, satellite123.com. And if you use the promo code PROPHECY, there are several different kinds of discounts in there. If you're out and about and all of a sudden you need gasoline, you need food, and the credit cards aren't working, they aren't taking dollars, then one of the best things to have is right here. It's a prepper bar. Each one of these is a little bit bigger than a credit card. It'll fit in your purse or your billfold, and it breaks into various pieces. So you could give them part instead of maybe more silver, more gold than you need to. Carry it right in your billfold or your purse. This particular one is 5 bars. You don't necessarily need to carry 5 bars with you, but you call 844-771-1776 or prophecyclubbar.com. prophecyclubbar.com. 844-771-1776.